Hello, one and all, and welcome to round 3 of the Racing League Hub Category 3 Asia Cup. We are here in Shanghai for what will be the Chinese Grand Prix in the third round of the season in this Asia Cup. So, we've had two action-packed rounds so far. This is the first one that I've had the privilege of commentating over, so hopefully I put on a good show for you guys. So yeah, let's get this underway then. So we are here in Shanghai, just waiting for some of the first cars to head out on the laps. Quite quiet at the moment, as I'm just looking in the chat here. That might come into play with the strategies these guys will be running as well throughout, but we're just going to have to keep an eye on that then, as we'll get the show on the road very, very shortly. So, we have our first car, I believe, our first cars anyway, starting the I think I'm having some audio issues, hold on, just let me sort it out for a second. Yeah, so hopefully we can get this underway just now. So, let's see here. I'm just going to quickly get up the championship standings. Of course, after 2 rounds, it's still very much anyone's game. So we're certainly looking forward to how this season evolves over the course of it. But I believe early on, your championship leader is Bean there. Yeah, so II Bean, whatever you want to say, this man here in the Haas currently leads the way after a very successful opening to the championship, I believe, with 2 second places in the first 2 rounds, as a kind of consistency has served him well. But currently, he's under a bit of threat here. There's still very, very tight, obviously being so early on. And the 2 drivers to have won races, Man Like Donkey and Boss Mods. So, yeah, they're going to be right up there as well. We've got to keep a close eye on how they all fare in this qualifying session, especially. But that will be treated to just a little bit later. One of the first drivers, I believe the first driver to start lap will be DMS Gexy. We're going to track him on his lap then. Now coming over the line, and you see he's got that rear wing open there, DRS in alt lap mode, down into turn 1, then flick it in, 5th gear. You got to go all the way down the gear, shifting slowly down, runs a little bit wide through turn 1, is going to scoop it back in for turn 2, then flick it left into 3, pick up the throttle, very difficult traction zone there. He's able to get on the throttle nice and early and cleanly, and is going to power along then to the kink at 5, and now the big braking zone of turn 6. Try to get to the apex, doesn't quite manage it, runs quite wide, and of course running on those soft tyres, of course, being a wet start to the race, all these guys I suspect will be running with a soft. We have a few medium runners actually, so maybe they're not quite aware of the weather, but we'll see how many drivers do proceed to set the times on the softest and fastest compounded tyre we have available to us. I think Gexy, don't think he was backing off for a second there, and I think now he actually has. So we're going to refocus our attention. I'm not sure exactly who's next up. I believe it is Belly, but he's just gone off there. So yeah, we'll not be able to continue, unfortunately, there. So we are going to look for just coming down the back straight. I think it's not Bossmo, it's championship contender on the medium tyres. One of the guys we've got to be keeping an eye on there. You've got Bean as well. It's just going on to the back straight. So we'll see how all of those guys progress through the remainder of this session. It's going to be quite a lot to look forward to. There is no doubt about that then. So Phil McConaughey might be the first driver to come over the line. Runs a little bit wide going around the final corner, but comes through, does a 34 flat there. And you can see Billy going behind. We saw him make that mistake, so is not going to be right up there. And Bean is actually slower than Phil, which I find rather interesting. So we know Bean, I think his strength seems to be his consistency in his racecraft, so maybe not over 1 lap. We'll see if he's able to step up to the plate throughout this quali session. But at the moment, not quite sending at the top, and there's more top times ticking in there and a huge lap from, I'm gonna call him Medzer. Yeah, we'll call him Medzer there, as Brent also goes second there. That's a stratospheric mark for Medzer there. You can see right up there, 32.3, which is a very quick lap, and comfortably clear at them by over a second. Mike Azafati just nipped himself into P2 then, and Jordan as well improving. So we're seeing times being put on the board right now then. I think that was a live box just going on. Boss Mollets there, we saw a very, very impressive lap on the mediums. 33.2 puts him right up there as well as Josh, who's also not exactly out of the championship fight himself, also puts himself up into P3 as well for the time being. So that's a good lap from the Alfa Romeo man. And we've got to keep watching, see more drivers there. We're going to look for King David going into the final corner now. Gets on the power nice and early then. Goes to the line and let's pull a 32 flat then. To put himself at the top of the timesheets. But just for the time being, it can all change there as Riker puts himself up into P6 at the moment. Of course, they've still got 4 drivers yet to set times. Got 14 men on the board right now. Let's have a look at just Jazzy Jeff. I love that name. He's just going round towards the 3rd sector now, and of course he's going to get on the brakes then. It's actually purple through the 2nd sector, clips the apex nicely going through turn 12 and 13. Open up that power. You got to be careful not to understeer wide then on exit there, but you want to get as close to that curb as you possibly can. Now you open up down one of the longest straights on the entire F1 calendar, and you can see he gets up over 330 kilometers an hour, and he's going to have to slow that right down for the hairpin, the penultimate corner. Well, it's actually 2 parts of that technically counts as a corner, but anyway, now going into the final turn now. Flick it in, run a little bit wide, but the game allows that, and he's going to go through and puts himself in P3, which is a very good lap on those mediums, and currently the fastest time on that compounded tyres. So Jazzy Jeff does look very impressive and beating out Boss Mods, who we also know to be right up there as well. But Jazzy Jeff, of course, has you know, a great chance as well of potentially even taking home the championship. Of course, he's already established himself as a high flyer in this category so far, and I'm looking forward to see his progress there. As I'm just like note there, you got Boss Mods switching it to the soft tyres, so I expect a lot more drivers to be putting on those softs now. Some of them that have set mediums have yeah, kind of got bankers in. You can see they are now they are switching it up, so we'll see how that flows. But we're going to watch for live box here, who's already got a time down, looks to have backed off and is now going for yet another one. Ambo's 4/10 up, so it could move a little bit further up. It is pretty close in that midfield, so any sort of improvement can really send you flying up the order. We'll see what live box is up to going round the final corner now. Pick up the throttle to the lane, and that is a 33.4, pops in just behind Mike Zafari, one of the faster medium runners, the 4th fastest so far. So that is quite a strong lap then from the McLaren man. We still have 3 drivers not to have set a time. One of them is Maggot, who's just navigating the final corner. We see a lot of drivers derating in terms of their ERS, as I've accidentally flicked the camera, but Maggot did go P3, and that's near the top of the timesheet, so you can be happy with that. We've got man like Donkey, and quite a bit of a high flyer once again in this category. Runs a little bit wide on the entry going to the final quarter, but still goes P3 and right up there, establishing himself as a top name in this quali session. 3/10 up the top is still King David though, who occupies that front position there. And now we're watching Beam. We're going to have to keep an eye on the Haas. We know him a little bit further down at the moment. He's got to try and pick it up. Almost half a second up in the 1st sector. Looks like he's on a good flyer at the moment. Of course, he's got to be looking to keep up that consistency throughout this championship, and he'll be looking very strong to continue on. Just looking into the chat there, we've got Maurice. Well, hello there. Hello to you too. I hope you're having a good time watching this along. We've got 11 viewers in the stream, so not too shabby. Hopefully we get even more in later on. Being again another half a second or so through that middle sector, and it's now over a second up on his time. That's putting him right around the midfield, but he might be able to find even more time in this last sector of the lap. Of course, very long straight, but a very big braking zone where he can make up time if he's brave. So we'll see what he opts for then. Gets onto the brakes now. Can he get it stopped and turned in? Makes the apex nicely and tries to grab traction on exit, but that has goes spinning, loses his front wing, and is lucky to not be rendered out of the session. Then he will get a chance to continue on, thankfully. But how much of a knock's that going to be to his confidence? Only 7 minutes left here in qualifying. So I'm not sure how dearly that's going to cost him. But yeah, he will just about live on in the session and just about survive. We're now watching Gexy going in to the hairpin. Takes it nice and steady, no dramas on traction there, getting it out again, D-Rex is down on the power a little bit going to this final corner. We'll see if that affects him too much though. Gexy comes up to the line, goes P6, not bad for the Red Bull man, pops in behind Jazzy Jeff, who we are now on the soft, so I'm expecting a big lap from him, but that is a top mark from King David, no doubt about that, and he's even up on that. Going through that first sector, really pushing it, and a big lap there for Bossmots. He's got to try and get as much as he can, of course, with a win already this season. He's got to try and rack up as many as he can, and that's a good step towards it then, putting himself on pole position. And yeah, we'll see if he can hold out with that one, but it's hard for me to read on that display, but he's done a 31.5, over half a second clear, which is quite a jump. And King David only a 10.5 ups, got to try and find even more time. I believe Meds is just coming round, but he's down in the first sector, so we're seeing some of these big headers in this session so far and how they all shape up. King David now is powered out of the hairpin towards the final corner now, clips the apex nicely on the inside, gets a good run actually. Can he challenge that top? He does improve, but not quite enough. We'll try and find 3.5 tenths. That just shows how good of a lap that was from Boss Mods to put himself up at the top then. It's a very good lap indeed. Lurch Days a bit down on his time. Jazzy Jeff, who was so impressive earlier on the medium tyres, is probably looking for big things now, being on the faster soft tyres. Of course, rain scheduled for the race is already starting to cloud over in this quali session. He seems to have potentially a DRS failure because he's not opening it down this straight, and you can see he's missing about 10 k's at the end of the straight, so maybe not I think it is an issue that he's having, because he still seems to be pushing quite hard going into that final corner now. Is he able to improve? See, no DRS to the line, he still does a 32.0 despite that very, very long back straight. So if that DRS is able to sort itself out, I can see him really challenging that leading time of Boston Mots there. Jazzy Jeff does look extremely quick at the moment then. We'll see if he's able to keep that progress going. We're a little bit quiet at the moment in the session, although I do actually, oh, I'm just seeing who's actually on a lap. I believe though Phil McConaughey in the Ferrari is going to try and shape himself up. The times are falling. We now have 8 drivers in the 32s or better, and of course Bossmont still so impressive up at the top. And yeah, so we're seeing, I'd say an Elite 3 at this stage. We'll see how those, if anyone else is able to join the party. Phil McConaughey does indeed do just that. P3, and that puts himself right in the mix, and that's a qualifying session. So very good lap then from the Ferrari man. And of course he's not had a particularly great start to the season then. Is yet to significantly get on the board, or in fact get on the board at all. So yeah, looking for more, and I think he's put himself on the right foot then. Now we've got Maggot, who's yeah, on the 32.4 at the moment there, down in the second sector though, so he's got to try and find a little bit more out of that racing point. So now he's going to power off of turn 13 then at that snail curve. Now Again, such a long straight, as I mentioned several times. You open that DRS, comes over the line now. And again, we're seeing another driver not opening DRS. I'm not sure if he's pushing or not, but it's strange to see more than one car have that issue. Gets the car nicely rotated through the hairpin, short shifting a lot through the gears, then trying to grab traction. Of course, very difficult at this circuit there. A lot of tricky corners there. He goes up and goes into P5. We're seeing the times continue to fall. He puts himself just in front of, I think we'll call him Ahmed actually. I think that's probably better. So Ahmed going around now. Man like Donkey is coming towards the end of a flying lap there. Attacks that final corner, gets close to that outside curb. Now to the lane, and he replaces Maggot in that 5th place then. So a better lap from the Mercedes, but of course we're getting to the real business end of this session, and he may not have the time to improve. I saw someone move up. I think it was Jordan. Yeah, Jordan puts himself P9, and now you're requiring a 32 to get into the top 10. So the standard continuing to rise here in qualifying. So yeah, several drivers about to start flyers there. This Lurch Day just starting a lap there. My Cat's Fatty coming down the main straight on a flyer, and his 210s up, so he's able to go a little bit higher. Gets the car rotated, going around the hairpin. Of course, got to try and clip that curb on the inside, and very important around this final corner. Takes it very cleanly, maybe a bit cautiously, comes up to the line and goes P10, just put himself up in front of Lurch Day. And of course, being a wet start to the race, being outside the top 10 isn't as much as an advantage as it usually would be, as I'm going to watch the live box there, who's coming towards the end. It's actually on the medium tyres, interestingly enough, so a bit of a different strategy from McLaren. Runs very wide through the hairpin. I think that's going to hold him back and probably halt his progress. Belly goes up the line, and it is P14 then on a 33.2, so maybe not the best laps that he would have been hoping for. And what to see is a lot of the guys near the front of the session are just on out laps, ready to go. Phil McConaughey doesn't look like he's going to be able to make it round, because he's just coming through turn 5 now. He surely, as a live box does retire, but Phil surely can't make it round, so he's not quite timed that the best. And I think that, yeah, that may be session over for him. Is it raining very slightly? I'm not sure, but I think the conditions are worsening just a little bit. I can actually see raindrops, so yeah, I think that we may be seeing a little bit of a deterioration of the conditions. How much will that affect the drivers? I don't know. Of course, we'll see if there are any improvements. Josh is improving at the moment in that Alfa Romeo. Is about a 10th up. So we'll see if he's able to put himself a little bit higher up. Then you can see the raindrops then. It's getting heavier. It won't have completely soaked into the track just yet. So these guys might be able to still find more time. We'll just have to wait and see. Josh gets the car turned in. Is early on the throttle then. Picks it up on the exit. Now into the final corner. I guess the grip will be fading, but he really attacks it, getting right on the inside and outside curbs. But he's actually improved by 4/10 of a second. Good lap, and that will put him P7 for now. So it looks like we're nearing the end. Do we have any more big laps yet to come? Gexy, we're seeing, is one of the last cars. You can see the understeer he's suffering from, and I don't think he's really pushing anymore. Of course, got to watch out for the likes of King David, who's a 10th down, so he might not be able to find more. Jazzy Jeff still doesn't have that DRS fix, so I'm not sure if we can see it. King David is backed off then, as getting a good slipstream actually from the Ferrari of Lurch Day. Hopefully he gets out the way. In fact, I think Lurch might be on a lap himself, so we've got a very awkward situation at the hairpin. Lurch Day indirectly holding up the provisional pole setter. Of course, he does seem to be on a push lap, so he's not really doing anything wrong. He's half a second down though, so doesn't look like we're going to be seeing improvements. Ahmed coming through and barely misses out on his time. He will remain 5th. So yeah, looks like that's gonna sell it. We have our qualifying session done. Of course, rain arriving right at the death. But it does secure that pole position for Boss Mods, and that is some lap there. 3.5 tenths faster than anyone else. That's going to be some psychological edge going towards the race. If he can keep up that pace in the race, he's going to be very difficult to stop then, and he can really ignite a potential championship challenge. Of course, he sits fourth in the standings and currently looks very, very strong, so a great start to his proceedings. As right, so I'm just seeing. All right, let's look at the chat. As yeah, so I did notice that's JRB. I'm not sure exactly who you are, but yeah, saying his DRS was broken. I did see a couple of drivers suffering from that. Not exactly sure why that was added into the game, mechanical failures in multiplayer. But yeah, that's really unfortunate because at this track, that's going to make quite the significant difference. But looking through, of course, no free choice of tyres for the race, but you are seeing the majority of the championship contenders starting in the front. Apparently the C1 stream has messed up, so that's really unfortunate. Hopefully it can get back. It looks like it is actually back up and running just from what I'm seeing, so yeah, that's good to see. But if you don't mind, you can tune in here, that's fine. As we had foreseen, we have wet conditions quite substantially, very dark as well, so we'll see how long these last. I am expecting intermediate tyres. The wets have quite a narrow operating window in the modern era of Formula 1. So we'll just see, as see Bren in the chat, driving with wet setups and no pace. Well, this is your chance to really move forward then. Okay, it's no telling how long this rain is going to last. These drivers probably have more of an idea than I do. So we'll just have to wait and see. But of course, some of these guys may have been sacrificing their setups more than others. It does look like intermediates for the race. So let's see how that affects things. Cosmos is very eager to get things underway, shooting towards that first corner. And let's just check if there's any weirdness on strategies. Nope, every driver on the inters, no one taking any major risks. It doesn't look like wet conditions particularly, but of course not slicks. The slicks would not be functioning at all then, would not be able to get any temperature into them. So inters it is then for this race. And Bosmots leads them out. Of course, that qualifying mark was so impressive, but you know, that's the point that I've kind of been led on to by Bren in the chat, is that, you know, it's so, you know, you can really compromise your setup in a dry quali going into wet race, and some people will inevitably be doing that more than others. You know, some people raising the ride height more than others, you know, changing the diff more than others. You know, all those setup adjustments will be taken into different lengths by a lot of the different drivers. And of course, Bean, starting from the rear of the field after that crash in qualifying, was unable to really make an impression. As I've only just clocked this, he is going to be really up against it to try and keep a hold of that championship lead that currently sits at 11 points, which is a pretty good margin to be just you know, 2 races into the season. That's rather impressive, but he's gonna have quite a task to keep that lead here today. By the way, I do apologise, I have a bit of a bad throat today, so that's why my voice maybe sounds a little bit different to what you recognise, but hopefully it doesn't affect the commentary too much. I'll still try and put on as good a show as I can. But enough about me. It's not about me, it's about these 18 drivers preparing to tackle a wet and wild Shanghai International Circuit. And Mercedes leads the field round to the grid. We have 2 drivers that haven't completed the formation lap, and of course that means we will be starting on colder tyres. I believe that might be Dos Josh and Maggot, the drivers in question there, that may have came together on the formation lap, hurting their chances. But we will move forward regardless, with Boss Mots taking a spot at the front end of the grid, and at the end of the grid is championship leader Bean. This is going to be a cracker of a race then. Pass lined up at the back with ground to make up. Can he do it successfully? It's Bosmos! Up at the front there with King David joining on that front row. We'll see how everything unfolds. We have 3, 4, 5 lights. We're away for round 3 then. Bosmots leads them off the line. Does King David get away alongside him? He's going to get a great start actually. The Williams gets alongside the Mercedes at turn 1. Can he get it through then? Still holds that inside line. Got contact further back. Huge crash down there at turn 1. Man like Doncaster spearing off the outside of turn 1, and King David has the lead. David has snatched it at that first corner. Bosmots trying to get back onto the back when they're grabbing traction off of turn 4, and we'll see now the run down towards the first major braking zone there. Bosmots has a little look. King David though covers the inside line. Further back there, Ahmed has a little look at Jazzy Jeff, who holds that P4. Josh wants to take advantage. He is around the outside looking towards turn 7, but is unable to quite get through on his teammate in the Alfa Romeo, so he's going to have to hang back for now. Looking towards the front, this is a Phil McConaughey there, sending all over the back of Bosmots there, who's trying to maintain the tail end of your race leader. King David snatched it. What a great run off the line. Further back with Lurstay and Live Box. They are dueling going down towards the end of the middle sector there, and Live Box had a poor run. That's going to put Jordan on the back of him there, who hesitates from the move. But further up the front, Phil McConaughey went down the inside. Bosmots outbraked himself. Now he's going to lose out because Jazzy Jeff is around the outside of the Ferrari. They're going to go toe to toe onto the main straight. They are still side by side. Phenomenal racing now going down the back straight for the opening lap. We'll see the field has scattered a little bit further back, but it looks like Jazzy Jeff is going to get that third place there. Look at Ahmed there with a great run. Going to look to the inside of Phil McConaughey, backs out though, and the Ferrari maintains 4th place. Maybe even look for 3rd place as Jazzy Jeff has run wide, but is going to keep a hold of that 3rd place just for now. Lurstay and Live Hawks are still battling away this time into the final corner on the first lap. Very difficult to fit 2 cars through there, and it's Live Box being pinched onto the inside, had to yield that position, and again after all that comes off worse, and again it's going to have Jordan looking to the inside of the turn 1 there. They come together very slightly. Jordan looks to try and follow through then. Live Box holds it around the outside and parked on the apex is the Red Bull there, but Live Box does not give it up. Has got the inside for turn 3 and turn 4. It's all about who's going to get better traction there. Live Box looks for it, gets it, and maintains 8th position. Red Bull's got a bit of lag down there, so hopefully that all sorts itself out. But one man that's made a dream start to this Chinese Grand Prix at round 3 is King David. What a job he's had. As Dave Hardy, you can see in that Toro also runs away and gives up 15th to Brown, who moves forward in that McLaren. But anyway, up at the front is King David. What a opening lap and a half it has been for the Williams. Great launch off the line, defended his lead nicely once he got it, and so far is looking absolutely imperious up at the front. Jazzy Jeff still holding P3 there. From McConaughey looking on the back of the Haas, got into the best. Live Box is round and he's collected Lurstay, I think. Both Ferrari and McLaren off, but it is actually Live Box has recovered a little bit better. Is going to keep 10th place and will soldier on there behind Bean, who's made an absolutely incredible start. Already up in the top 10, has overtaken half of the cars on the grid, taking advantage of some of the chaos that ensued in those first few corners and picking his spots nicely, no mistakes, and now runs P9. So a very strong start for the championship leader. And he's going to look to hold cars out, but again struggling for traction off the hairpin. He has Live Box looking to threaten him. Of course, that McLaren has been in the wars all over, so he may just look to try and regain that 9th place. We'll see if he's able to do so. Looking towards the front, it's beginning to spread out just a little bit. See if McConaughey got a little bit out of shape going through turn 1. Ahmed really honing in. Those 2 Alfa Romeos running in a nice formation. Penalty Jordan already. That's not going to help his chances in this Grand Prix in the slightest. But this looks to be the closest battle here. It's behind Jordan actually, and he's got Riker looking on the back of him in the Renault. Does he have a pop from distance? Jordan, he has a little look down the inside of turn 6 and further back. He got ran into the back by Live Box. Bean navigates around the outside. He has P8. It's Billy moves up. He runs 9th there, side by side with his, not his teammate, sorry, Riker, who has to drop back. He looks like he's got damage there. Was completely innocent party in that. I think it was Live Box who must have outbraked himself, ran into the back. You can see how much that has suffered, or how much the McLaren driver has suffered. He's now his teammate Brent, who looks round the outside of him, is unable to quite follow through with the manoeuvre, and this is really stacking up this back end of the field. And again, out wide, live box is going to put Dave Hardy on the back of Brent, and they're going to go wheel to wheel in a turn 12. Watch Lurch stay, huge lunge down the inside, and bit of contact. He's made it, he's got stopped for the corner. Not sure how happy the other two will be with that, but that was so ambitious manoeuvre from Lurch Day. And he moves forward then, and he will have an easy pass, I'm sure, on the wounded, beaten and bruised McLaren. Up at the front, Raika trying to regain his possession. He's going down the inside of its belly, trying to snatch that, that 9th place, and eventually might just do it there. The teammates almost going wheel to wheel, but eventually its belly has to yield it there. Gexy sitting behind Mike Hazafani as well. Also in this straight, further down the field, it's Dave Hardy on live box, who, after slipping down the field with that wing damage, has to peel in. And of course was unfortunate in an incident, and I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I think he may have just outbraked himself and ran into the back of Raika. Anyway, we will continue on with this Grand Prix, and at the moment King David still holds a decent lead up at the front, but he's struggling to extend it, and Bosmots, the pole setter, still keeping him very honest. Of course, Bosmots has such a great opportunity to potentially even take the championship lead here, but he has to try and push for the potential race win. Of course, King David currently 7th. This will do wonders for his chances. Of course, it's so close really to the top 6, and he's a little bit further back, so again, he's really got to try and get the most out of this race, and at the moment he's doing just that. The rain seems to be easing off just a little bit, but it's still very much coming down, so the track conditions will not be easing at all, and these drivers will still have their work cut out to keep the car on track, to keep it on the island, and not to find themselves spearing off into the barrier. See, very close further back, that was Ahmed, who had a little look at Phil McConaughey. Will still have a chance with Slipstream, and he's got a much better run down the main straight. Look at the difference in straight line speed. Ahmed comes cruising around the outside and will easily have that 4th place, but a lunge back from Phil McConaughey into the hairpin. Can he get that one stop there? They're going to go wheel to wheel. Bit of a slide for the Ferrari. Ahmed gets a cleaner run on the outside and may just get 4th place. He does have 4th place there. Finally puts a car between himself and his teammate there. Can Josh maybe follow through? Phil McConaughey was unable to get that revenge move, and now he's going to be under threat because Josh pulls to the inside towards turn 1. Can he complete that maneuver there? He's tight on the inside. Has got to try and get the car all stopped to make it round, give space on the outside. Does all of those things, and he has 5th place, but gets out of shape. Maybe a little bit of a tap from the chasing Ferrari, who's eager to regain those places he's lost. I am absolutely sure of that, but at the moment he doesn't seem to have the traction to quite chase down on Josh, and has to settle down in 6th place at the moment. So he sits in, and it's currently Ahmed now who has a running clear air, might be able to chase down those top 3. We'll see if he's able to show better pace than what Phil was doing. He's going to be right on it there, getting a little bit of oversteer. Going through turn 8, keeps the car all together and continues to go on with Josh still keeping him company. He's up for Males for running 5th and 6th the whole way. Now they run 4th and 5th and maybe continue to move on. We'll see if Phil McConaughey can try and reassert himself as the race begins to settle down. About 4.5 laps in, as Phil McConaughey got very out of shape. Going through turn 11, was able to just about keep the Ferrari pointing in the right direction. It's up at the front, there's Jazzy Jeff. Jazzy Jeff has gone off, going onto the straight. I think he has damage as well. The really difficult traction zone through that snail-shaped corner, and he's going to drop well outside the top 10 then. As further back, Mike Hazafani's also going off in almost identical fashion. We're seeing that corner claim victim after victim then, and we're seeing 2 drivers then have gone off. Jazzy Jeff has slipped well down the field, looking further up the field, or further down I should say, as Maggot down the inside of Brent, but he's going to run wide that racing point. The McLaren switches back underneath and looks for traction towards that final corner. It's tough to go around the outside there. He's going to get squeezed off by the racing point, and he got very feisty, certainly got the elbows out and forced the McLaren over the white line. I'm not sure if Brent's going to be too pleased with that. I certainly wouldn't be if I was in his position. But he's unable to quite get that 14th place there off of Magan, who still holds it in front of the Dutchman. And he has to still just settle in behind the 14th place Racing Point. And of course that spin for Jeff has really opened up this front fight. Now we have quite a substantial gap between second and third. Ahmed, of course, was running a couple of seconds adrift of a Jeff, and now that's really opened up. So he's now 4 seconds to make up on Bosmots, and these top two are very, very evenly matched, and clearly both very, very quick, getting the most out of their cars and pushing to the limit. But at the moment there, it's King David who holds it at the front. Further down the field, we've got more fighting there, and that's how its belly is going off, I believe, going through turn 9. Pick up that car yet again, but he is lost out on points between positions. Now sits down in 11th, has got to try and get himself a little bit further up. And Deep runs very deep on the brakes again, and then off into the gravel, puts himself in the wall. That almost looked intentional there. I'm hoping it wasn't. But it's Billy off into the barriers, and we have a full safety car, which is going to completely bunch up the field. And Billy out the session completely now. It doesn't look like we're going to be getting pit stops from the front runners, but it is going to bunch up the field, of course, and a great lead. That 4-second gap those top two have built up over the last 7 laps has now been completely erased. So the race essentially gets completely reset. And now we've got King David, Bosmots, they run 1-2. As we've got Bean actually, who comes into the pits. This is an interesting strategy call. What will the choice be? I suspect he'll still be enters, let's see. And yes, he does still put on the intermediate tyres there. Jazzy Jeff, who I believe has damage after that spin, because it did look like he was coming off the wall, also comes into the pits. And yes, he is getting a wing fix there. The Haas crew getting to work. And now Jazzy Jeff has got a lot of work to do. Mike Azafati in as well. But with Bean and Jazzy Jeff both having such issues, you know, 2 big hitters in terms of the championship, it opens the door for others to try and take charge. But a man like Donkey has not been able to really take advantage of this, because he runs down in 14th place. And yeah, really struggling at the moment there. Had to pit on lap 1 for damage. I believe he was, yeah, the car that got taken right out at turn 1, and is now recovering. But we have in the bottom 5 still on track. 3 of the top 3 in the championship account for 3 of them. So this really opens the door for this man, or I should say for these two up at the front, King David and Bosmots, who are on the fringes of the championship fight. Ahmed as well is also in that fight as well. So all these podium runners having a chance, and realistically, you know, a lot of the other big hitters besides the top 3 in the championship run near the front of the grid. So this could really spice things up then. In terms of the championship fight, of course, it's still very early days, but we could see the lead change hands, and maybe we can see contenders begin to establish themselves in this short Asian season. So hopefully we get back to racing on the next lap. The field should be bunched up by then. On lap 8 we can kick things off yet again, but King David has not put a foot wrong so far. So spearing into the wall, that was Dave Hardy. Oh my word. He's apparently came together with Lurch Day in a Ferrari. And as he got himself off the wall, he recovers, but with a complete loss of front wing. The Toro Rosso is going to slip nearly to the back of the grid, and without any downforce in that car. And I don't know why we're going so slowly here, big man. Like Donkey seems to be really backing the pack up. And maybe there was a bit of confusion with live box, because they're seemingly just swapping positions, so I'm not sure what's going on down there. Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm struggling a little bit with my voice. I said my throat is a little bit bad today, so please excuse the rather below par commentary for myself, but hopefully the race is able to make up for it anyway. Of course, King David has driven an absolutely flawless race, but his lead now essentially cut down to 0, and with 16 cars now sitting on his rear diffuser. And the two Toro Rossos, of course, at the back of the grid, swapping. I'm not sure what's going on there. I think Dave Hardy is trying to let everyone through, but Mike Azafati is being told. Well, Mike Azafati is being told off for overtaking. I think that's what's going on back there. So yeah, so these two Toro Rossos, a little bit of confusion. So that might hold us out. This might thwart us getting back to racing. We'll see. And actually, as I say that, safety car confirmed to be in at the end of this lap. And you see the top three almost filled in the upper banking. These guys really eager to get going again. And King David's got to try and pick his spot. It will probably be down the straight, or alternatively, maybe coming out of the hairpin, trying to grab traction, maybe get a jump on Bosmot, who has kept him so honest so far in this Chinese Grand Prix. We're almost 8 laps in. Found the first safety car. And we'll see this race get back underway. King David backing them up is just accelerating a little bit. We'll see when he goes. Looks like it may well be out of the hairpin where he kicks things off. We'll see how Bosmot, if he's in anticipation, could respond to it. King David really back him up though, but gets massive oversteer, and actually I think that was him playing a little bit of a trick on Bosmot. And now goes. That's a good restart from King David there. He's got a good jump up at the front, and I think his lead may be safe. Ahmed has had a slow reaction, and he's under pressure from his teammate potentially as he runs wide, coming up the last corner. Josh maybe in with a chance. He picks up the slipstream towards Turbo, but Ahmed still has enough straight line speed in that Alpha, I think, to maintain P3 just for now. Looking further back there, Jordan runs 6th with Raika pressuring all the time, trying to hone in on the Red Bull then. And of course he's benefited from other drivers going off then. He's got to look to try and keep that. Got to keep an eye on Bean as well. He's got to try and charge to the field. He's got a man like Donkey for company. And just not far behind him, Jazzy Jeff. So again, a lot of big hitters well down the order. And of course we're just going to have to see how well they can fight their way through. Looking further back, man like Donkey, he's coming to contact. I think like Boats has had another incident down there, and he's interrupted these championship contenders. Man like Donkey had to recover, but Bean is all the way back here. Bean has lost several places from that incident there in that Haas, and he's got to try and regain his composure and get himself back up. But he now runs at the back of the pack essentially, and a lot of work to be done for the championship leader there. It's been a nightmare race, a nightmare session really as a whole for Bean. And he is looking really up against it to try and keep that championship lead. I think he may have damage as well, potentially on the right end plate. It is hard to hard to suss out, but yeah, he does have damage. So wow, that is as Man Like Donkey's slowing. Man Like Donkey's running wide, going through turn 13. He's going to get picked up actually by Bean, and 2 championship contenders go wheel to wheel in unfamiliar territory here. They're going to go side by side down the main straight, but we're going to cut further up the field there as Gexy and Raika go battling there. Gexy's wide, going round the hairpin, and Raika is going to pick up that 7th position there as Jazzy Jeff gets to the front of this train. Man Like Donkey did get in front of Bean, but Bean, of course, more damage. He's going to stay out though, maybe hoping the conditions eventually dry up and he can save himself an extra pit stop, just take the pain right now. He's got to be hoping for safety cars surely at this stage, because his race is downhill. You can see Riker running a little bit away, going through turn 2. Just keeps that car back on the island. I mentioned how evenly managed these top 2 have been all the way through, and we're seeing quite an example of that. Boss Monster is way going through turn 6. He's got to try and pick that car back up then and power along. He still runs a second off the lead now. Of course, he needs to try and cut out those mistakes if he wants to chase down the leading Williams at the front end of the grid. Ahmed still running and behind him. Of course, he had that slow restart. He's still looking to keep these leaders honest, and now he has more of a chance to do so. That gap hasn't been opened up, but he's still being kept under all sorts of pressure from his teammate Josh. Again, beginning to spread out, of course, difficult to follow under these wet conditions. And we'll see Gexy maybe coming under pressure here. Large J's honing in and out of there. Takes tighter, go onto the straight. That allows Gexy to kind of open up the throttle and might just be able to keep that 8th place, but the slipstream It's going to be with Lurch then, and he has it in hot lap mode. He's going to close up. Gexy is aware of that though, and he's going to cover towards the inside line of the Ferrari. Looks round the outside. He may just get squeezed a little bit by the Red Bull, but he's still going to try and keep it alongside, but runs wide. Gexy is able to get in front, and Lurch gets over there. Maggot now looking for it. Maggot is to the inside on the final corner, that racing point, but backs out last minute. He's going to maintain 10th place there, not looking for it. Brian sitting eagerly in behind in the McLaren. Still though, King David holds your race lead. Boss Motts trying to keep him honest. The gap has been cut down. Looks like Boss Motts might have more outright pace, but King David's being a bit cleaner, making less mistakes, and that's been enough so far to keep him afloat. And there's not been any overtakes amongst these top two since the start of the race, but we have seen evidence of how evenly matched they are, and if Boss Motts is just able to put a lap together, find a couple of tenths a lap on King David, he can put himself in a very strong position to potentially snatch the lead off the Williams driver. And of course both these guys looking to gain in the championship. Boss Motts, I mentioned, he already has a win this season, has established himself as a top name, but of course that other race has unfortunately let him down. But it looks like he may well have the pace to potentially even get the championship, especially with being man like Donkey and Jeff all running outside the top 10. He's looking very strong to get himself right into it there, but King David, holding that lead and not making the errors, is doing enough for him for the time being. Josh is getting ever closer to his teammate Ahmed. He runs so evenly, so almost nose to tail all the way through. This is a close battle further back. Maggot is getting up towards the back of Lurch Day, but was unable to quite get the run off of the snail section, so he may not be able to get the place, but he does have a lot of straight line speed, but his ERS is low. He has a little feint to the inside, but Lurch Day is going to maintain that on the brakes, and he's seeing a live box sitting behind Jazzy Jeff, who's managed to catch up to this train that's sitting behind Gexy, and he's got to try and get as many points as he can from this position. Might just be damage limitation now for Jeff, and we'll see, can he make his way through? Can he make these overtakes in such treacherous conditions? It's supposed to be a very close battle on track as well. Man like Donkey maintaining position ahead of my Kansapati. They sit at the back of this train, being unable to quite keep pace with that wing damage. Really struggling on that right end plate. That downforce won't be playing as much of a role in the wet as it would in the dry, but nevertheless it's still going to be having quite a profound effect on the handling of that Haas car, and he's certainly still struggling to keep it going. So he's got to really work at it, keep it together, and we'll see if he can move forward throughout. Jazzy Jeff under pressure from live box. You see the McLaren trying to look for that and maybe take a little bit of a knock off the championship contender. Live box still sits in behind though. Jazzy Jeff really trying to get pace out of the Haas. But at the moment it's not quite coming to fruition. He still sets P12, chasing cars ahead. Josh is getting a little bit more of a look. He was closer to Ahmed, but Ahmed much quicker going through the snail section, so maybe the mistake from the second Alfa Romeo car. And the top two are slowly but surely getting a gap out there. It's a slow and steady process, but they are just doing that. Boss Motts runs wide through the hairpin. I mentioned these mistakes. He just makes these small errors running wide into corners. And when you're driving at a high level against someone that's roughly the same pace as you, can't be affording this. This is Jazzy Jeff battling away with Bren. He's going to look running outside there. Bren squeezes him but gets him the space eventually. Jeff trying to seize that inside line for the final corner, trying to follow it through there. They're going to go wheel to wheel, and Bren has to yield it. Phil McConaughey into the pits there. Bren may try and pick up the slipstream from the Haas, but I don't think he's going to be close enough there, but he's gaining all the time. Jeff has to cover to the inside there. Is he going to keep that line tight? He needs to if he wants to hold that 10th place, but he is going to hold that 10th place. There's Bren runs wide. He's now going to have live box diving down the inside. The two McLarens going wheel to wheel, and live box has pulled it off round the outside and now has 11th. Bren runs into the back of him very slightly there. They both struggle, squirm, get back on that traction, but live box has 11th, and Bren losing places out there. Has got to try and re-pick himself up there, but live box has run wide, missing that apex, but he will hold 11th place then. Still, these top two run a little over a second apart. We'll see. It is, the rain is easing off. I definitely do I do think it is beginning to lighten, and we might see slicks at the end of this race. We will see. Of course, these guys are going to be experiencing a bit more tyre wear now. They've been on them for almost 13 laps. So the tyres will be starting to fade, and this is actually where the likes of Jazzy Jeff could come into his own here. With a very fresh tyre set underneath him, he can try and use that grip as the race evolves to put himself a little bit further up. So he runs at 10th then, just behind Maggot. They're all still stacking up behind Gexy, but Gexy's found a little bit more pace in these last few laps and is pulling away. Look at behind him though, Maggot closing down on Lurch Day, and again fades to the inside of the hairpin. There's no follow through, but my cat is a fatty, battling with a man like Donkey, and gets him easily into the hairpin. So I think man like Donkey maybe had a bit of issues down that straight, and now he has been actually with that damaged Haas car sitting on the rear end of the Mercedes, and might be able to suss out an overtake. We'll see if he's able to get one done, but he is turning his ERS down, looks to be hanging back. So he's going to send him behind for more time. This is Jazzy Jeff, has closed up onto the back of Lurch Day Maggot. This fight over 8th place, tightening up all the time. So can he hold on to it then? So here we go. Going down turn 6. You see the field still relatively close. I see Maggot's very wide going through turn 6. Can Jazzy Jeff follow through? They may almost be side by side on the exit there. Maggot rejoins, but he may have to give it up there. He's going to go almost wheel to wheel with Jazzy Jeff, who gets it right on the outside of 7. Brave, committed, and eventually fruitful. Through goes just Jazzy Jeff. He now runs 9th, and with Lurch Day and Gexy next up the road. It's still pretty close behind Jordan, who's not quite been able to match the pace of the top 4, but he's still running in a very strong 5th place, which would be a good result for the Red Bull driver. So he's looking pretty solid right now, holding off Riker. Those two have been running very close out on track all the way through. Lurch Day, does he have a run on Gexy this time? He's had one attempt at trying to get past the Red Bull, was ultimately unsuccessful, but Gexy is trying to break that toe. He knows the presence of the Ferrari, but ultimately he's not close enough on the brakes for the hairpin and has to still sit him behind. But Gexy is under increasing pressure, and it's ramping up all the time as he tries to hold on to that 7th position. Lurch Day very committed going through that final corner. He might just have a run out the Red Bull there. He does actually set fastest lap, so that's a sign of two things. One, that Lurch Day is on a charge. Two, the conditions are improving. The rain seems to have almost stopped or completely stopped. I think it's very, very light. So they are definitely evolving. And now the race begins. I see another fastest lap from Phil McConaughey. So I think now we're seeing the beginning of the end for the enters. Maybe not quite yet, but in a couple of laps, because the rain has certainly almost come to a standstill. So this is now the dynamic in this Chinese Grand Prix, that we don't have rain anymore. You see Jazzy Jeff's pace trying to close up to Lurch, but ran a bit wide. He's going to have to try and make that time back up. I think there's still a top 5 potentially in order for Jazzy Jeff if he can just keep that progress up, because as I mentioned, the field is still very close from 5th downwards. 5th down to 11th is still very tight actually. So he can still make the most out of this despite a bit of a scrappy race, and gain points on all the guys around it, because man like Donkey and Bean are well down the field, nowhere near points. You can see man like Donkey getting a oversteer off turn 10. He's trying to keep that Mercedes going there, get as much pace out of it as he can, but he is struggling now, as you can see there's still spray coming off the tyres. So I wouldn't say it's going to be slick conditions yet, but you can see Brent is particularly struggling. And I'm actually just watching further up the road there, because Dosh Josh getting very close to Ahmed, and Jazzy Jeff going for movies down the inside of Lurch Day. So he might just have the Ferrari, but Lurch is later on the brakes, looks around the outside. Jeff has the inside line, is going to force him off the road, and has 8th place finally. So I mentioned 5th could be on the cards, and now he is charging. Jeff up into 8th, and you see more championship battling here, as now could be a swap amongst the Alfa Romeos there. Dosh Josh finally down the inside, and he finally has the podium off of his teammate Ahmed. These guys have been so evenly matched all the way through, but it's always been Ahmed leading and Dosh Josh trailing now. The tables have finally turned, and Dosh Josh has that podium on track, but we do have a couple of pit stops. Lurch Day and Maggot, there are mediums for Maggot, Hard for Lurch. Do the slicks have enough grip in them? The rain has eased off very quickly. The track certainly drying. The water evaporating off the surface there, but is it quite time for slicks just yet? Maggot looks to be struggling to get that car turned in. You can see it not really rotating. He's running very high gears as well, so he's worried about the traction, and that's why gets massively out of shape. It's way too early for the slicks, I think. They're not rubbered in at all, and you can see how he's just not able to put on the throttle at all. It was a brave choice, but ultimately looks like it's not going to come off. Lurch there, you can see a little bit better there. Gets on the throttle, but he's struggling. You see Dave Hardy, the difference. Look at how he cruises up around the outside of the Ferrari. Much later on the brakes, runs wide though. This is a good comparison, but you can see on traction, the Enter's still just a league apart, and really this strategy call has not worked out in the slightest for Maggot and for Lurch. And they're going to lose out dearly. Looking up, this is where the charge of Jazzy Jeff continues. He's to the inside of Gexy, and he's going to squeeze him onto the curb from the road. This Rika finally has a go at Jordan. They're going to go side by side, going down towards the final corner. Jordan has the inside line. Rika, though, does not go into the pits, or does go into the pits, and could have almost come together. King David, the former race leader, now in, and this is brave. This is a very bold call for the Williams driver. We saw how much Maggot was struggling, how much Lurch Day was struggling, but are the Enters dropping off even more? I'm monitoring the gap from my Kazafari and Maggot. It doesn't seem to be changing much, and DRS enabled, so maybe King David can establish himself up at the front of this race. It's certainly not a huge difference either way now, but King David will be gaining all the time throughout this lap, but if it doesn't rubber in quite, the lead can still go to Boss Mods. Jazzy Jeff now pressuring onto Jordan. I mentioned that with the fresher tyres he'll really come into his own, and we're seeing full evidence of that now. King David has only now just pulled back a split on Jazzy Jeff, and there's Ahmed round. Ahmed down at turn 8, has gone almost into the wall, so that means the Enters must be fading away. And the grip deteriorating from those tyres, and King David making up time. He's now got Ahmed right in his crosshairs, and he's got to look for it, but this is going to be holding him back then. He's got to try and slow himself down and now pick it up, but we can see how much the Enter's now struggling. But if that hold up has cost him as well as the struggles early on in the lap, Bosmos may still have a chance. But look at Jazzy Jeff, every lap he's now chasing cars, and now with DRS it's almost an easy task. Jordan still giving him as much of a run for money as he can, but down the straight it's absolutely futile to try and keep by. Jazzy Jeff though does run wide. See the lack of grip on those Enters. Jordan may fight it back, and there's contact. Round goes Jazzy Jeff. He collects Jordan. They're going to try and recover that as they both scramble for tracks, and Jazzy Jeff loses it. I think they may have actually got away without any damage, but that's going to cost both of them dear either way. Where does Boss Mods emerge? King David down the main straight. I think he's going to have it easily. Yeah, the Enter's just completely deteriorated at the back end of that lap, and King David now has a huge lead. In fact, Josh has swooped round, and he now has P2 on the road, so he's taking advantage very nicely and now runs second. Now Bosmots does have a lap fresher tyres, so he might still be able to maybe snatch that second place back, but his chances of getting the lead look to be fading away now, as Maggot managed to make something out of this there. He's actually running up in P8, so in the long run it's actually effective, and he is ahead of Jazzy Jeff. So the Haas, having got involved in that incident with Jordan down there, the field has just been completely shaken up then. So definitely these drivers that have just pitted have lost upwards of 5-6 seconds. So you can just see how much they really lost out, and yeah, that is going to be hugely disappointing for Jazzy Jeff. His charge has been cut down, and of course for Bosmots as well, fighting for the win. So got on pole position, lost the lead at the start, but was still pinning up a great fight to King David. Now looks like anything better than second place would be a miracle. The win beginning to slip away, but P2 still very much in sight, and now with very powerful DRS. Look at the closing speed of Josh, my word! Josh has to go defensive towards the hairpin there. Bosmots closes in, looks to the outside, switchback not there, but he is looking ever threatening. Josh looks to struggle very much for straight line speed. Seems to be running higher wings. So does Bosmos have a run down the main straight? You can see him picking up that drop, picking up that toe. It's going to go to the outside towards turn 1. Can he swoop in a P2? He's got his nose in front. Yes! Through goes Bosmos. He has second. And of course we saw how impressive his dry pace was in qualifying. So can he cut down that gap to King David? There may still be a penalty going the way of the Williams, so it might not be over just yet. And you can see Ahmed, after that spin, you can see running in a podium place for so much of the race, now down in 14th place. His championship chances have taken quite the beating. He's got to try and make his way up or hope for a safety car. We'll see. Jordan is the first car on his list, as you could say there, of cars to try and get through. Bean has actually benefited from this a little bit because he now runs 12 and sort of in the mix for points now, so he's not out of that fight either, as Ahmed closing in on Jordan but unable to quite dispossess the Red Bull at 13th place just for the time being though. Gosh Josh, does he have the pace to keep up with the rapid Bosmos? We saw that pole position lap, so impressive. And now the Mercedes holding out at the front and looking to try and get out that DRS range. You're all aboard, but even with DRS and slipstream, Josh is not getting. He seems to be running very high wings, which really costs him going down that back straight there. He's going to lose him several tenths of a second every time, and I think Bosmos could be out of that range very soon. We'll see. Fastest lap, King David. Is it beaten by Bosmos? It is by some margin. I think that was 6 tenths. So he is really on our charges, the Mercedes man, with decent ERS as well, more to play with. We'll see if he's out of this just yet. Bean is battling away with Mike Casafani further back there. That's Ahmed down the inside. Oh, Jordan, and the Red Bull almost comes to a dead stop going into the air. But that's going to put Phil McConaughey now on the rear wing of the Red Bull. They go round the final corner for the 19th time in this Chinese Grand Prix. Phil's going to pick up that slipstream, but Jordan still has DRS to defend himself. So it's like he's going to hold on to that 14th position there. Maybe use Ahmed as a bit of a well, just going to use him to tow himself up to the cars ahead potentially. Bean still chasing points. He's now got Bread to try and navigate in that McLaren. He's managed to get himself into a points paying position, but can he hold it in the back end of the Chinese Grand Prix? It's been quite an entertaining race so far. And yeah, so I don't think my commentary has been quite as good as the race this time. Definitely something up with my voice, but I don't want to use that as an excuse for being a bit before. As Live Box is round, Live Box resets the track. Gexy had to avoid, goes round the outside. They're going to go wheel to wheel. Gexy gets that 5th place off of Live Box, who will not be pleased with that. He's got to try and strike right back, but he's got low ERS, so it's going to be a challenge, even with DRS. Even with slipstream to regain that 5th place, and Gexy knows it. He's going to cover to the inside line, but Live Box is round the outside. He has momentum, has the speed, has the possession if he can just get it stopped, and he does. Up into 5th place goes Live Box in front of the end of the field. This is Bean now attacking Brent. He's going to look to the outside there. He's going to get squeezed towards the curb. Brent gives him the space, runs deep, and round. What like Casafai? He's gone flying in there. Not sure if he was hit from behind or if he's just massively outbraked himself, as Jazzy Jeff has taken that 9th place ahead of Bren. So Bean is actually coming into the pit. So Bean losing out, must have come into contact. Like Casafai, I have no idea what happened to him. As Ahmed and Bren battling away now. Ahmed picks up that 10th place as Bren is running wide. And I think with damage, he must have came together with either Mike Casafai or Bean. That's why Bean has come in and has fitted brand new soft tyres, but it looks like he's out of the running for points in this race. So huge blow to the championship leader, and how much will that cost him in the long run? Dos Josh is still keeping pace with Bosmos. They're both actually catching King David that substantial race, so King David's got to try and watch for penalties there. Try not to pick them up. Got yellows down there in sector 1. I think that's Mike Casafati. It's coming out of the pits. I have no clue what happened to him, because can't have outbraked himself by that distance. It was quite remarkable if he did. Looks like he's going to have to sit in that 17th place though, nowhere near any other cars. Gexy now picks up slipstream now from Live Box, who covers the slipstream early, or covers the inside early, trying to break that toe. Gexy looks towards the outside, brakes very late in comparison to the McLaren, who has damage there. Round the outside goes Gexy. Can he get it done on traction there? He gets his nose ahead towards the final corner, almost has the move completed, squeezes him out, and through goes Gexy. Great move. He now has 5th place and does very well there, as Jordan has got past Bert Bren as well. So yeah, the McLaren really suffering now with that damage. He's got to try and soldier on, and maybe incidents ahead could sway him towards points. But ultimately his live box goes for that ambitious move back on Gexy into turn 2. Ultimately didn't quite get through, and the Red Bull holds P5. But is there going to be a return slipstream here from live box towards RLH? Gexy covers the inside line, moves back towards the racing line as he saw that he was relatively safe. And yes, he has 5th. At the moment, Famiconic has also got past Bren, who's just slipping back. On, sorry, that was yeah, there is Bren. In fact, I was watching Lurch Day on the hards. It's going to be struggling quite substantially. But yeah, Bren really struggling now. Front wing not intact in the slightest, and yet he has slipped well outside of range of points now, unless a miracle does come the McLaren driver's way. So the race looks to settle down just a little bit. I'm going to check penalties there. King David has not a single warning. That is so impressive. Bosmot's just the 1 warning. Dosh Josh has 2 warnings. Rika, 1 warning. Very clean, it must be said, all around. Gexy, also a 1 warning. Live Box has quite a few collision warnings, I'm guessing, but no penalty. Man Like Donkey the same, just on that first lap must have came together. Maggot with 2 warnings. Jazzy Jeff with 2 warnings. Ahmed with a 5-second penalty. So how much will that cost him? Jordan has a 3-second penalty. Looks like a straight 3-second penalty as well, given by the game. Phil McConaughey has a couple of warnings. Bren, I should say, has just a couple of warnings. Dave Hardy has 5 seconds. And Bean has 2 warnings. Very clean all around. Only a few drivers actually to pick up penalties, so very well done. It's out for 5th place is one we've got to watch out for though. It's Gexy and Live Box there. Gexy was able to grab that 5th place, but has not been able to establish himself, and still has the McLaren chasing him down every step of the way in that fight over P5. So can he hold on to it? We'll see there in the dying laps now, this Chinese Grand Prix. Bren is coming to the pits. Maybe we'll see fastest lap attempts from these back 3, in fact. Well, Bean is caught to the back of Dave Hardy, so I'm not sure how much of a chance he has of that. So Bren maybe will snatch it from him. We will see. As Phil McConaughey also having a run at Jordan. He's going to look towards the outside, going into turn 11. Looks to the outside, no, Jordan parks on apex nicely, but DRS is going to be with the Ferrari as they exit the snail carpet. Good run from Jordan, may well just be enough. We'll see. Phil is going to pick up that drop. He doesn't have very much ERS, and Jordan does have about 20% or so more, so how much will that play into the Red Bull driver's favour? Closing in, there's Phil McConaughey there, fates the inside, closes up on brakes, but critically, the move does not quite come to fruition. He has to sit 12th for just now. Maggot still holding on ahead of Jazzy Jeff then, who's been in the wars throughout this race, it's fair to say. And he still has a run. Maggot runs way through turn 2, and down inside goes Jazzy Jeff through turn 3 as well. They go wheel to wheel. Can the Haas find his way through? He's going to have traction around the outside. Maggot gets caught up on the inside, and yes, through goes Jazzy Jeff. On the warpath all the way through, it must be said. Dave Hardy, Beaner as well, battling. Beaner's going off yet again. Absolutely horrific race for the Haas. And now he's going to have Bren on the tail end of him, but I don't think these guys are going to be on for any sort of points paying positions, unfortunately for them. This dry pace from Boss Mots, by the way, has been so impressive. And he might not be out of this just yet, you know, because we're going to have 4 laps to go when they come over the line. That gap has been coming down at quite a substantial rate. They're running about the same on ERS. So it's a level playing field, but Boss Mots must have set the car up more for dry conditions than King David. King David looked to have his number in the wet just about, but in the dry, that gap is being sliced down, and this fight for the win is not over by any stretch of the imagination. Do not go anywhere. We can have 4 laps of enthralling action between these top 2 as the Mercedes hones in on the Williams up at the front. 3 and a bit laps to go, and the fight for the win not over. The gap now under 2 seconds then. The gap was close to 6 seconds. If it weren't for the strategy call from King David, he would have been out this fight altogether, but he's given himself a chance. But Bosmotz's dry pace is going to be quite something to hold back. The gap now down to 1.5 seconds there. Absolutely rapid closing in from Bosmotz there. That is absolutely remarkable pace that he is showing there, and continuing to establish himself as a contender up at the front of this Chinese Grand Prix. Can he see it through though? That is going to be the big question on everyone's lips, on everyone's minds. He's got to try and get it done, but that gap, if it's being sliced down by half a second, think about it. It was if it's gone down by half a second on this lap. 1.5 seconds, 3 laps to go. If you do the maths, that makes 0. So this race could be on a knife edge. It could come down to the last lap. King David needs to find more speed, and quickly. That gap is being absolutely sliced down. Bosmotz has more ERS to play with now as well. So King David looked like he had this win pretty much sewn up after the round of pit stops. But his lead is now being threatened, and maybe on the last 2 laps, he could be having a car sitting in his DRS, or even now. Bosmotz, what a charge from the Mercedes, closing down. What an effort it's been to chase down a 6-second gap on the man who has proven himself to be very quick. As looking, this is Jordan Phil McConaughey there. The Ferrari was out wide, and he gives up his first 10th at trying to get through, and Jordan holds 11th. Of course, if anyone in the top 10 comes together, has an instant, these are the guys that will benefit. So that battle is still very, very important. Just because it's outside the top 10 doesn't mean it could be overlooked. King David's doing a little bit better on this lap. Goes further down the field there. That's Brett cruising past Dave Hardy, who's practically helpless to defend on much, much worse tyres. And now Bean's looking to dispossession. Essentially fighting for pride though as the championship leader. King David and Bosmotz and Dosh Josh are all going to make up solid points on him. But King David has had a very strong lap here, but I have a feeling that Bosmotz was saving his ERS because he's saved a little bit more. Now he's in a better position. But King David has made a big effort there to try and keep himself afloat at the front. But the straight line speed is certainly in favour of the Mercedes, and that could give him such an advantage if they get together dueling on track. Watch it there. I think we will be seeing DRS for the first time in this battle for the lead. They have had an enthralling duel all the way through, and it is not over yet. Look at the closing speed of Bosmotz. He may even have to go early. King David has got to try and find something extra and keep that lead, but does he have any chance at all? Because Bosmotz, the pole sitter, by some margin in qualifying, lost the lead at the start, wasn't able to match King David in the wet conditions, lost out on strategy as well, but in the dry he's threatening and looks to the outside towards turn 6. Late defensive move from King David, holds the lead, but better traction with Bosmotz, looks towards turn 7, coming off. What a fight for the win here. Round the outside he's going to look now, but King David is able to cover off every angle of attack from the Mercedes, but how much longer can he last? We saw the closing speeds down the main straight. Bosmotz looks to have lower wings, better straight line speed with DRS and slipstream. That could be absolutely vital then. Further down the field, this is Jazzy Jeff battling with a man like Donkey. Is going to go into 7th place. They're all stacking up in Gexy. There's a good train behind the Red Bull. He's still under pressure from live box, but we do not want to miss this. The lead could change hands. King David though does have a good run going on to the straight. He's going to need it dearly though, because here comes Bosmotz looking for the race lead there. King David's going to cover that inside line. Surely there's not going to leave a gap. Round the outside goes Bosmotz for the lead. Can he pull it off though? They're going to go wheel to wheel down there. King David's going to force him out wide there. They're going side by side for the race lead, but round the outside goes Bosmotz. Oh my god, my voice. As he's going to run wide though. He's going to give it up. They go side by side. King David trying to snatch it back. They're going to go side by side down the main straight, but King David is ahead. Slices his way through. I can barely speak at this point there. It's hard to put on the enthusiasm. Oh wow. But anyway, King David, what a fight he has put up then to try and hold that race lead there, getting it back, and Bosmotz made the mistake that puts more pressure on him then to try and keep it, but he's going to be under pressure again. Round the outside goes Boss Nuts. Can he get it done? Round at turn 6, gets squeezed slightly by King David, but he might be able to pull it off though. Gonna go wheel to wheel towards turn 7 for the lead in the final lap. Through goes Boss Nuts. He has fought for it. What a fight it's been on this final lap there at the death, and it may not be over because Boss Nuts runs wide again, and he puts King David up the inside again. They go wheel to wheel for the race lead. Through goes to Williams, and we've got battle for 5th as well, but I think this is what we all want to see. Again, back comes Boss Nuts down the inside. Go off King David. King David relinquishes it. Now he has DRS coming his way, so will it turn in favour of the Williams? He doesn't have much ERS, but neither does Boss Nuts, who's managed to steal it away on this final lap. Will they change hands in the last few corners? What a conclusion to this Chinese Grand Prix. King David closing all the time, dives it down the inside, trying to get it stopped. Contact between them there, off the track goes Boss Nuts there, recovers. King David gets the elbows out. Maybe it's just been illegal. I'm not sure. There'll be stewards after the race, but on track at least. King David comes over the line. It's a penalty for Boss Nuts anyway. Josh takes second. Oh my word, my voice absolutely gone at the end of that. Raikkonen will come over the line in 4th place. Kicks a 5th. That is disgusting. That is as dramatic a conclusion to a race as you will ever see, and I think I'm not going to be able to keep going for too much longer there, as Phil McConaughey does eventually get that 11th place off of Jordan. Does actually finish 10th ultimately, so does manage to grab the points. And that's going to be it then. King David, what a race. He's able to see it through, and get himself in a great championship position, but as I mentioned, I've got a bad throat today, and I think you heard in that last lap, it just absolutely died, so I don't want to keep it going for too long. I'll just end this right here. So King David with a win, Josh and Boss Nuts all take big steps towards the championship, and that really tightens up there. It's been as a disaster race, so yeah, I won't keep you going for too much longer. I would and until next time, we'll see you later.